Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to show you how to make a roll or shawl collar. As you can see, I've attached two pictures to show you that you can use it on a jacket or a dress just like this. So let's get started. So to begin, we're going to be using the front block. We have the shoulder dart and the waist dart. The first thing to do is split this shoulder dart between the side and the mid neck. What that means is I'm going to draw a line from the mid neck point to the apex. I'm going to also draw a line from this point to the apex. So if you're making this for yourself, you can take a 5 centimeter measurement from the armhole downwards. So you just measure 5 cm like this, and then connect that point to the apex. Once you have those two lines in place, I'm going to split the darts between them. Starting with the one at the neck, I'm just going to slash it. I'll stop immediately I get to the apex and then close this dart. By the time I close it, you'll see that the dart will move. So as you can see, I've just slashed it and stopped right here. The next thing to do is close this dart. You do that by folding one of the dart legs. And then placing it right on top of the other one. Like so. And just like that, our dart has moved from the shoulder to the mid neck. I'm going to tape this down. So that's step one. The next step is to slash the other line we've made. The reason we're slashing this one is to move most of this dart here to the arm or to the side of the bodice. We're going to have only 0.6 cm space at this point by the time we're done moving it. Okay, so as you can see, it's still very much attached. I've stopped right at the apex. I'm now going to close this point like this until what I have between here, the space in between this part and this other side, is only 0.6 cm. So typically you'll need to introduce fresh piece of paper and place your pattern on top of it. And then, of course, you're going to have to tape this to the paper and then move this until the space in between them is just 0.6 cm. Once you have 0.6 here, you tape both sides down, and then you see that the rest of it has moved to the side of the block. So this is mine all done. This space right here is the 0.6 centimeters that I left, and of course the rest of the dart was moved here. So this is the base of our roll collar. Now we're ready to start the collar proper. So this is just a picture to quickly explain how the roll collar, so what the pattern will look like once it's been drafted. You'll have the break point where you typically fold your collar backwards when you're wearing your jacket. And as you can see, the center front line, there's another line in front of the center front line, which is the button stand. And then you have the center back at the top. When we start drafting,
Bearing that in mind, you'll be able to understand better.
With that explanation in mind, we're now going to add the button stand and also mark the breakpoint. So the button stand should be 4 cm from the center front. So this line right here is our center front. Take 4 cm parallel to the center front line. So you take that measurement upwards until you get to your break point. I've decided this is where I want my break point to end. So it means I'm going to take 4 cm all the way to this point. And I'll connect them now. So this break point, we're going to call it point 1. We're also going to move to the neckline and call the tip of the neck right here point 2. So the next thing to do is extend this shoulder line. So just place your ruler parallel to the shoulder and make broken lines like this. So these broken lines are not going to be here permanently. They're just to serve as a guide. Once you have your broken lines in place, you're going to introduce the back bodice. The roll collar is joined so it's sort of joined at the neck. So the front and the back are joined together at the neck. So that's why we're going to be bringing in the back bodice at this point. Take your back bodice and ensure that this tip of the neck is touching the tip of the neck of the front one. So I'm just going to place it like this. So you have back neck tip touching front neck tip. Now, the next thing to do once you have that in place is tilt your back block. So just move it this way. So you have to pay attention at this point. Ensure that the tips do not separate. They have to be together at all times while you're tilting the bodice block. You're going to tilt this block from this line, measure 8.5 centimeters downwards. So you're going to tilt it until this shoulder tip reaches an 8.5 cm measurement from this broken line downwards. So for me, this is my 8.5 cm right here. Okay, so I'm still holding it here, but I need to ensure that from this line to where my shoulder tip stops is 8.5 cm. Once I have that, I make a mark. I also trace this shape of my back neckline right here. So I'm just going to use my pencil to do that now. I'll use another color just so you can see the difference. So that's my back neckline. We're going to call this point 3. So now we have 1, 2, 3. We now need to move to point 4. We'll be going from 2 to 4. So 2 to 4 will make it 2 cm. So just place your ruler at point 2 and measure 2 cm along these broken lines. Remember, my measurement is different from yours because it's a small block, but the measurements I'm saying out loud are the ones you need to use when you make this style for yourself. So this is point 4. Of course, the next point will be 5. So for 5, we're going to be moving from 3. I'm just going to place my ruler now and draw a line here. So we'll go from 3 to 5 along this line. 3 to 5 is 3 cm. So I'm going to make my 3 cm mark now. and call this 0.5. We're going to go from 5 to 6, still along this line, and the measurement for that is 60 m. So I'll measure my 60 m now, and this is 0.6. To get to 7, we're going to come downwards by 0.5 centimeters. So just place your ruler here and measure 0.5 here. That's our 0.7. We're now going to bring down 3 to 7. So this is the line that we'll use permanently. So I'm going to use a darker pen. The reason you're dropping it is just so it sits better around the neck. So this is our new line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is joining 5 to 4. So that's our roll line. It's not exactly a straight line, so I'm going to use broken lines to draw that one. We're also going to connect it to the break point. So that's 0.1. So this time I'll use my straight ruler and connect 4 to 1 with broken lines. So gradually our roll color is coming to life. Now we're going to be joining 0.7 to 0.1. This is the roll style line. This line is totally dependent on you. Some people like it really curvy. Some people like it not so curvy. So you do what works for you. I'm just going to do mine now. So that's the style line. I've drawn it very faintly with pencil. So I'm just making sure I'm happy with it. And once I'm happy, I can just use something darker for you to see. So guys, that's the roll color done. As you can see, it's not as complex as you imagine. The final thing to do is make a facing, because as you know, every jacket has a facing. From the center front line, so this line, measure towards the side of the bodice, about 6 to 7 cm. So this measurement, you're going to take it all the way up. And then you can stop at the mid shoulder point. So my shoulder is 5.5. So I'll just go a little bit over to right here and then connect it. So this line shouldn't be a straight line. So this is your facing. I'm drawing it back to this point. And that's it all done. So the green marker all the way to this front part makes up the facing. I'll trace it out now just so you can see what I'm saying. This is the facing. I've traced it out from the main pattern, and that's what it looks like. But before we discuss what will happen with the facing, I just wanted to explain a couple of things. So if you remember, we placed the back block neck tip with the front neck tip and tilted it until we got to 8.5 centimeters. As you can see, we never used that, so it will seem like we never used the 8.5 cm. So, but just in case you're wondering why we bothered doing that, it's just to be able to gauge where to stop at this point. So if you don't have that guide, you wouldn't exactly know how low to go or how to place the back block. And if you place it wrongly, it wouldn't sit right at the back of your neck. So that's just the reason for taking that measurement, just in case you were wondering. Now back to the facing. If you look closely, you see that I've made a broken line starting from the breaking point all the way to the top. The reason for this is this facing is going to be placed inside the jacket like this. When that happens, you just want to make sure that it doesn't peek out from the front. You want to make sure it's completely hidden inside. So that's why you make it a little bit smaller than the actual fabric. So when we sew this piece, you'll understand better. Another thing to note is that I've made a mark here. This is going to be cut. So we're going to slash this in two and then put them back together. The reason is that we want this part of the garment, so this lower bottom, to be cut on a straight grain, but this upper top rather is not going to have a seam here, so it's not going to be on a straight grain. Again, I'll explain this in my next tutorial where I show you how to put them together. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next one. Bye.